The other day, Sonic Dream Team was announced and the internet was taken by storm. Well, at least the Sonic community. And, you know, rightfully so, everyone was like pretty excited. They're like, yo, this game looks really sick. But at the last second, they snuck in Apple Arcade. And at first, I didn't even know what this was. I was like, Apple Arcade? I got an iPhone. I'm pretty excited about this, but it's actually a big problem. So we're going to talk about the pros. We're going to talk about the cons. We're going to talk about everything you need to know about this game. Is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is Sega burning the Sonic fandom? It's not as black and white as you think. So make sure to subscribe to the channel right now for daily Sonic uploads. I'll give you a second. And turn on notifications so you never miss a video ever again. With that being said, let's get into it. So what is Apple Arcade? I had to look this up myself. You get 200 plus incredibly fun games, and here's the catch. Here's what's good about it. There's no ads, there's no interruptions, there's no in-app purchases. You can play online, offline, and across all of your favorite Apple devices. And as a matter of fact, it's only $6.99 per month. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I am like a hardcore MMORPG fan. I've been playing World of Warcraft, which is a subscription-based game my entire life, which is a $15 a month subscription. Also, another all-time favorite game of mine is old school RuneScape. And you know, there is a subscription for this game as well. I've been playing games that you pay about 12 bucks, 15 bucks a month for my entire life, basically. So the idea that you would actually have to pay for a monthly subscription to play games is not so far-fetched, at least for someone like me. Now, this is more of like an Xbox Game Pass. I think it's more fair to compare this to, not necessarily like a subscription-based live ops type game like World of Warcraft and RuneScape that get updated continuously. We don't know what the update schedule is going to be like for Sonic Dream Team. Personally, I would prefer live ops type games just because there'll be more stuff to make videos on, more stuff to make content about, and just like something to keep us engaged while we wait for the next big Sonic game to come out. With all that being said, why are people mad? Like, this is a big controversy and this is kind of an issue. And I'll say at the forefront, I don't like the idea that this game is kind of locked behind a subscription service on an Apple device that not everyone has, or the fact that I can't play it on PC. Like, for someone like me, like, I have an iPhone. This is my phone right here. I have the ability to play the game. I have an iPad. I have all the Apple products. A majority of phone users in the United States of America are Apple users. Sonic in generally performs better in the West as well, even though Android's more popular globally. But let's do a deep dive into the business side of things and see, like, is this Sega burning the fans? What is this all about? What's the business behind this? It's a little bit more complicated when you break all this stuff down, because there are legitimate pros and cons to this game being on the Apple Arcade. So Apple actually had some hand in the development of this game, and obviously because it's exclusive to their store, clearly some of the money and funding behind this game is because of Apple. Apple's a $3 trillion company, the biggest company in the world. Now, the reason why this game actually looks like a real game and not a mobile gacha gambling casino simulator is because it's exclusive to a service like Apple Arcade with Apple's money, so the quality of the game is actually allowed to be good. You can actually play a game without an ad popping in your face every 5 seconds. Here's a good Twitter thread that actually kind of encapsulates what I think the pro Apple Arcade, pro Sonic Dream Team argument is. So Danny Sonic Expo, he says, look, you don't have to mess with Apple, and I get it, and I'm not trying to like be on their side or whatever. He says, y'all aren't getting just how much kids use their cell phones for gaming. Apple Arcade is a platform to accommodate that without trying to give kids a gambling addiction. He says the reason that the game is allowed to be legitimately as good as it appears to be is because it was funded by Apple specifically for the Apple Arcade. If this was a normal mobile game available for everyone, it would just have a ton of predatory monetization and suck. I do like the idea of a more like high quality mobile game, not like an endless runner, you know, like Sonic Forces Speed Battle. I mean, it's not like a terrible game, but it's not really much of a game. And you literally can't play the game without something being thrown in your face, like an advertisement. The 30-second ads that you have to watch in this game makes it unplayable for me. He says, I totally get being frustrated by such a cool looking game being basically console exclusive, but I'll gladly take this over another middling mobile game with microtransaction and gacha. Saying that this game shouldn't exist at all because I can't play it is so goofy. That's one thing where I think like anyone who plays this game, the people who purchase this game, this is definitely a win for. Not having predatory monetization is actually really important. No pay to win BS. Like, they can actually focus on making the game good as opposed to designing the game to psychologically trick people into spending money. We'll actually be able to have a game that's a game, and that's what it's all about. It's about, you know, playing the game. It seems like it's going to be a much higher quality platforming game with story, narrative, narrative, good graphics, good gameplay. Like, it's an actual 3D Sonic game as opposed to like an endless runner, which is like a game you play in the toilet. So the harsh reality is this: the only reason why the game exists in the first place and why the game is actually good and high quality is because it's on the Apple Arcade. There's no other way around this. There is zero incentive to make an actual good mobile game with no microtransactions or anything like that. That isn't a gacha game. This was the only way to actually get a higher quality Sonic product. I know it's a very unfortunate and it's definitely a shame. It's either do you want the game to not exist or do you want to watch a 30-second ad in between every single game? And from a business standpoint, there's actually some reasons why this does make sense for Sega and why they did this in the first place. The usual suspects on Twitter are saying, you know, only 6 people are playing Apple Arcade. Oh my God. You know, the very, very loud vocal minority of people on Sonic Twitter. If you look at Apple Arcade, 6 people, like this is literally something that's trending. But yeah, everyone's saying only 6 people actually use it. Well, that's actually not true. And I'll explain to you what Sega's mindset is. So if you look at a chart right here of all of the video game subscription services combined, you have Xbox Game Pass, PS Plus, and Nintendo Switch Online. If you combine the Xbox Online or Game Pass subscribers, I'm not sure exactly what this figure is, Switch Online and PS Plus, if you combine all of them, Apple Arcade has almost the same amount as all of these platforms combined. And if you look at the market share for probably what is the target primary demographic of people who be playing the game in the US, which is basically probably the largest share of people that'll be playing it, iPhone has about 60% of the market share, and Gen Z and millennials are also more likely to be iPhone users. I would imagine if you take this 60% number and factor in the Gen Z and millennials and probably Gen Alpha as well, this number probably rises as well. Obviously, the correct answer is yeah, throw it on every platform, or you know, Android has the higher global market share. When you're releasing these games, you have to understand who's your audience and who is this most likely to succeed with. Whatever sales projections they had for making this game multi-platform, which is still a possibility, this could still be released to like PC or something, to make this game exclusive probably far outweighed their sales projections for what they would have done if they made a multi-platform. And honestly, I don't think there was any sales projections because this game doesn't exist without Apple's funding. You understand what I mean? Like, this is what they're thinking. I'm not saying it's like the best choice, but this is just like the reality of how the world works. It's not black and white, you know what I mean? So this is what Sega's probably thinking when they release this game. So you have the active Apple Arcade user base right here. So if you look at it, this is 100 million, okay? We're talking 100 million people. So 100 active Apple Arcade users. Now, Sonic Twitter, this is the most people that are, you know, very loud. These are the people that are probably be the most affected by this, the people that won't have the ability to play the game. The same people that actually forced one of the producers of the game who works for Apple to put their Twitter on private because they were getting basically dogpiled in the quote retweets when they were just sharing about how excited they were to work on the game. This is probably, I think, like hardcore like Sonic Twitter users. Let's say it's between like 5,000 people to who like log in daily with the Sonic profile pictures and stuff like that and like debate Sonic, quote retweet, you know, dogpile people. This is like what they think about when Sega sees, they see like, okay, maybe 5,000 to 20,000 people will be upset, but we're gonna get a lot of funding to tap into 100 million people. You know what I'm saying? So whatever Apple, the richest company in the world, is able to throw at Sega probably outweighs upsetting, you know, the people who are active on Sonic Twitter, which is about, like I said, I think on the upside, maybe 20K, but probably between like 5 and 20K people. So you understand what Sega thinks when they make this exclusivity deal. There's a lot of anger that we see because we interact with this because we're in this bubble. It's a very, very small bubble. And then if you look outside of that, this is what Sega's tapping into. I don't think they're really too concerned with the core audience, which again is a problem because some people really do lose here. Did Sega burn us? They burned some people, not everyone though. So not only did they tap into the 100 million active users, they probably got a lot of money to do this, which is why it's going to be a high quality product. So there's so many like trade-offs here. At the end of the day, the companies win and some consumers have to lose, which is kind of a shame if you think about it, right? But as long as money's involved, there will always be a trade-off. The reason why Sonic Frontiers, you're able to get free content updates and there's no microtransactions is because you paid $60 for the game. The reason why Sonic Superstars is $60 is because, wait, why is this game $60? The reason why Sonic Forces Speed Battle is free is because every 5 seconds you have to watch an ad after you play a game. So that's the thing, right? It's like Gacha Mobile Casino Simulator or put the game on Apple Arcade and make it an actual game. I really do genuinely hope that this game does get a PC port because Sonic games aren't really new to this, right? Sonic Lost World, that was a Wii U exclusive, a game that was basically doomed to fail because it was on a failing platform. Eventually made its way over to PC. Team Sonic Racing Mobile actually was stuck in Apple Arcade, but if you think about it, it was technically a port or like a multi-platform kind of game because Team Sonic Racing was available on all platforms. There's been plenty of exclusive Sonic games though. Like I said, this isn't something that's necessary necessarily new. It's not quite the same because we're dealing with like the you'll own nothing subscription, subscribe your life away reality that the world's kind of dealing with. It's not just video games. But Sonic and the Secret Rings, like that was an exclusive game. The most iconic Sonic game ever, Sonic Adventure 2, like that was a game that was stuck on the Dreamcast and then eventually made its way over to GameCube and got ported to every other platform. So I know it's not necessarily apples to apples. I really do hope it's possible that Sega will eventually release this game to multiple platforms. According to a Sega Hardlight brand ambassador, he said the Apple Arcade release only prevents the release on other mobile platforms due to exclusivity agreements, but this does not mean that the game can't get a release to console or PC. And he said the news is not correct, by the way, in which Ian Flynn, who works in the series, actually retweeted. So all hope is not lost. I do hope it comes to other platforms because trust me, I'm not necessarily justifying why this is happening. I'm just more so explaining why this is happening. Because ultimately, yes, I would love every single player to play this game. The one thing I really hope, like above all other things, I just want the game to be good. I want a Sonic game, a 3D platformer Sonic, to be received like unanimously positive. Regardless of the financial aspect, like the actual game itself, like the game that we're playing, I want it to be good. I want it to be received well. And that's one thing we should all be striving for as Sonic fans. And this actually, it's kind of sad to say, like this might be a really good chance for that to happen. We'll see. I don't know. But like I said, there's a lot of cons, man. I really hate the fact that like I'm gonna have to play this on my phone, or I'm not even sure how I'm gonna be able to stream or make videos on this game. I hate that I gotta subscribe to a monthly subscription service just to play one game out of the 200 games that they have there. Maybe I'll check out the other game. Maybe this is a ploy to lure Sonic fans to play other Apple games. If it was like, all right, you buy the game one time, I think a lot of people would prefer just to pay a one-time upfront fee for this game, to play it on the platform of their choice. I hate that other people won't be able to play it. Some people say that they hate that they won't own the game. I don't know if you buy physical media, but if you buy games on Steam, you know you like actually don't own the games either. This is a fun fact. You actually have a license to play the game. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But if you buy physical media, like you won't actually technically own the game. So there's concerns about like if the game ever was to, God forbid, shut down, what would happen to it, etc. I hate that with every single Sonic release, project, whatever the case may be, there's always just like a catch to it. You know what I mean? It's not good that this happened, but I hope I informed you guys as to why this happened. Did Sega burn us? Listen, the companies will always win at the expense of the consumers. Not every consumer got burned, and business-wise, it definitely makes a lot of sense for them to do this. There's so many reasons. I have 100 million reasons why they did this, in addition to whatever bag that they threw at Sega to make this happen. Trust me, this whole 6 people playing Apple Arcade narrative is false. Even if 6 people are playing, Sega still made their money, which is always obviously the most important to these companies, at the expense of some consumers. So that's my take on it. Some people took the L, some people took the W, but the biggest W goes to the people that make the games.